Hello guys, this is Antrozix here, and I'm back with another video, and I'm going to be talking about the new Warfare Cybertron Siege reveals that were revealed there as the time of this recording yesterday. Now, we knew these characters were coming because it was confirmed that they were being released. I believe it was back in January this information was released, but we finally got some actual product images of what these characters are going to look like, and they are Leader Astrotrain, Voyager Apeface, Deluxe Spinister, and Deluxe Crosshairs. But I'm going to start off with Astrotrain first because I think he's the most interesting. Now, we did get an Astrotrain back in the Titans Return line. Some people liked the figure, some people didn't. I personally liked the figure. I still have to get the figure, but I still like that figure for the character, but this one given a more G1 representation for him, and he turns into his space shuttle mode and a steam locomotive. Now, I gotta say, this honestly looks pretty amazing. Because it's a leader class figure, there was a lot more budget put into it and a lot more transformation techniques they could engineer into the figure. So I think that was a good choice because Astrotrain was always a pretty big character in the series. He used to carry Decepticon to different locations or into battle, such as the Transformers movie where you see him bringing all the injured or deceased Decepticons away from the battlefield after Megatron kills Optimus. So yeah, he was always a pretty big character, and I'm glad they went with a leader-sized figure. I maybe would have preferred Commander class treatment for him, similar to what Jetfire is getting, but I'm still happy that he's getting a leader class figure instead of a Voyager class figure, considering the type of character he is. Now, originally his G1 toy was released multiple times throughout the years. That was his first figure, and then his second figure was the Classics Henkei Universe Generations toy, which was also released numerous times throughout the years. And that was pretty much the only figures you get of Astrotrain up until the Titans Return line. Where you got Astrotrain. That was pretty much a new mold at the time. That was about 3 years ago. And now his fourth figure, which is the Siege Leader version, is being released, and that's making a lot of people happy, and I think it's very warranted. But yeah, I'm glad they went with leader choice for him instead of a Voyager. Next up, we have Voyager Apeface. Apeface, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of, but the way this figure looks, it's making me a fan of the character. And it makes me want to pick up this figure. For those who don't know, he is one of the two Decepticon Hurricans, alongside his fellow Hurricon Snapdragon. And the deal with these Hurricane characters, Apeface and Snapdragon, was they were triple changes, but they were different compared to, say, Astrotrain, Blitzwing, Springer, and Octane. And in terms of that, they were transformed from robot to vehicle to a beast mode. In Apeface's case, it was a robot mode, a jet mode, and a gorilla mode, hence Apeface. And also Snapdragon would be like an SR-71 Blackbird inspired jet, as well as like a dinosaur dragon creature, and also his robot form. Now, considering we're getting Apeface, I'm almost certain at some point, whether it be in the Siege line or a future line in the Warfare Cybertron trilogy, I'm almost certain we will be getting Snapdragon. The thing that's interesting about this Apeface figure is that it appears he still retains the Titan Master gimmick, so I'm guessing they're going to be using the same engineering they did for the Titan's Return line, because he does come with his Titan Master partner, Spasma. And what I think that's interesting about his gorilla mode is, if you look at the original G1 toy, which is the only official way to get, which is the only official figure of him up until now, was his headmaster partner Spasm would turn into both his robot mode head and his gorilla mode head. But what they've done here to accommodate the size is that part of the beast mode head is incorporated into the actual body itself, and the headmaster only has the visor section of the beast mode head and just slightly tabs into place, which I think is a better deal than having all that gorilla mode head squeezed into one small headmaster. I guess a similar sort of way to what they did with the leader figures in the Titans Return line, such as Overlord and Six Shot, where they had the helmet piece that made that basically was the large majority of the mass of the head, and then had the actual Titan Master, which is the regular Titan Master, and just slide in and tap into place. But yeah, I'm almost certain that we will be getting Snapdragon at some point in the future, because I think it wouldn't make sense if we were just getting Apeface. So yeah, that is Apeface. Next up we have Deluxe Spinister. Spinister, like Astrotrain and Apeface, is an entirely new mold, and he's basically more or less an updated design on his original G1 design. Instead of being like a newer interpretation of the character, he's just basically an updated design. Now, a little history on his toy releases. He had his original G1 toy which was released in 1988. Then he got a BotCon figure, which was a repaint of the 2010 Tomahawk figure, which used the alternate head from Dark of the Moon Vortex figure. And then the next release he got was the Thrilling 30 redeco of Blaze Master, which is basically like a Target Master character. So he could turn into his robot copter and also into his like Blaster Target Master mode, which was released in about 2014. And then the last figure he got was part of the Transformers Collectors Club subscription service deal, which was the fourth iteration of that subscription service before it was eventually phased out and the Collectors Club was eventually dissolved. And this was basically a redeco of the Combine Awards Deluxe Alpha Bravo mold, and he was part of like a set where you could make Thunder Mayhem. And yeah, that's basically his toy history. He hasn't had that many figures compared to other characters throughout the years. Similar to Astrotrain in Apeface, he just hasn't had that many figures. Now, in terms of his character history, he appeared, as far as I know, he's only appeared in the comics. I don't think he appeared in the actual cartoon itself. And what's interesting with this toy is that he has two guns that seem to be inspired by his two Target Masters he had in the comics, who were Singe and Hairsplitter. Now, because this siege line has Battle Masters, which are basically Target Masters, I'm guessing at some point we will be getting Singe and Hairsplitter as Battle Masters. But yeah, I'm almost certain we will be getting them at some point separately, whether it's in like a box set like similar to Laserbeak and Ravage or whatnot. So I'm almost certain we will be getting them as Battle Masters at some point. And also, back in, I think it was sometime later last year, early this year, he was part of the first fan vote for this line. And basically, this fan vote consisted of picking two characters you wanted figures of. So the first group was Spinister and Wheeljack. Second group was Needle Nose and Trax, and third group was Mirage and Impactor. And Mirage and Impactor won that vote. But it appears that Hasbro and Takara decided to go with his character and make him a figure anyway, which makes me think because these toys are in production from concept to actual resin prototypes to actual finished products. I'm guessing at some point we will be getting Wheeljack, Needlenose, and Trax as well, considering how close that original fan vote was compared to this reveal. So I'm going to say a 50-50 chance. Don't quote me on this, but I'm almost certain that there will be a Wheeljack, Needlenose, and Trax figures at some point. So yeah, that's Spinister. And finally we have Deluxe Crosshairs, who instead of being a new mold is essentially a redeco of the Ironhide figure with a new head. Now, I believe his original G1 toy was like a dune buggy mode he turned into, but for this they went with the whole van vehicle mode for him. But I think it works because if you look at his original G1 toy, his like windshield section of his original vehicle mode became his chest, and this figure, which is the Ironheart figure, works because the windshield becomes the chest as well. I think it actually works pretty well. Like, it's not like, out of the four figures that were revealed, he's not the one I'm most excited about, but I'm still happy to be getting him. Because like the others, he has not had that many toys in his long history, with the only one being the G1 toy. But now as the reveals where he's getting a new figure in the Siege toy line. Now, like Spinister, I believe he only appeared in the comics. I don't believe he appeared in the cartoon at all. And also, like Spinister, he had a Target Master partner called Pinpointer. Now, as I said, because this Siege toy line has Battle Masters, I'm almost certain that we will be getting Pinpointer as a as a battle master in the line, and at some point, whether it be in the Siege subline or a future subline of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Okay, so those are the new reveals for War for Cybertron Siege toy line. I'm certain that these figures will be revealed properly at San Diego Comic in terms of actual product images instead of just like computer rendered images, and hopefully we will be getting some more reveals at Comic-Con as well. To be perfectly honest, I did not expect to get these reveals so soon. I was honestly expecting that to be released at Comic-Con, but I'm glad to have gotten them nonetheless. And yeah, I'm absolutely excited for what this toy line is, the way this toy line is going. There's been some strong designs, strong figures for these characters. And I like that they're focusing more on the actual the original G1 designs, and just giving them more of an update instead of just reimagining them. So yeah, I'm honestly really happy for this toy line. And I look forward to see what Hasbro and Takara do with the rest of the War for Cybertron toy line from here on.